Hey, hello, voices from wise women, Shquestra Satawi, and I have a guest, my favorite guest, Emily Gunter, Muti Emily Gunter. And today we're going to talk about rites of passage. So please share, like, go to Earth Mama Network Facebook, Earth Mama Network YouTube, and definitely we want to tell everyone to come and listen to about rites of passage. So, when we first start, Voices of Wise Women is about women talking about their journeys and what has happened and how do and we want just to share our journeys with you for the younger people to know and for people that are our age, that even though you are older, you can still move forward and do some things because we are still moving forward and doing some things. So we're going to do our 30 seconds of meditation to bring yourself into the room, to quiet ourselves down so we'll be able to answer our questions. So we're going to do our 30 seconds. So here we go. All right. Great thing. So, Emily, I pulled some cards, and these cards definitely speak to you. It says, my work is deeply fulfilling, and your work is definitely deeply fulfilling. But when I looked at the calendar today, I fell out laughing. It says, I create a bubble of ease around me whenever I travel. And I know you always use the bubble. So I started laughing. I was like, this is right on time. And this was published years ago. So perfectly.
My angels just went over there and said, okay, give her this one and give her this one.
That exactly.
Me and my pink bubble. My pink
That's
bubble.
Right.
I tell you.
I know.
I like it.
So I started laughing. So Emily, please introduce yourself and tell us who you are.
Well, I'm Emily Gunter. I'm also known as Muti Emily. I got that Muti from Shquestra. Had to be when her grandchildren were calling her Muti, and I didn't have any grandchildren at the time. So I said, oh, I'm going to use that when I, get older and get grandchildren. And then when we started camp, then my grandchildren were in camp and they wanted to call me grandma. I says, no, you only can call me Muti. And I said, and then everybody else can call me Muti. So that's how I became Muti all over the world, because then everybody called me Muti.
Oh, wow. That's good. So you and I have traveled. We've had journeys and we've traveled all around the United States and out the United States and worked on Rite Passage. And so tell us, oh my God, have we traveled? I had Shadi on yesterday and last week, and we laughed a little bit about it. I said, your mother always invites people, and we would have a room full of women that came to travel. I was like, who are all these women? And like, wow, we're working on out. So
all they said they didn't have a room, or they were in a terrible room, or whatever. Come, Shquestra will love you.
So we met women from all over the country as we traveled. So talk to the women out there and tell them a little bit about Rites of Passage. What does it mean to you, Rites of Passage?
Well, Rites of Passage is a time-honored African tradition where the elders of the community would come together and decide on which children would be able to go through the Rite of Passage, which means becoming a good citizen of that village, becoming a growing elder for that village. And the kids the children, boys would go
Mhm.
one way and the girls would go the other way. And
Right.
if you were an elder who was graded cooking, elder graded statesman, elder graded raising kids, whatever your modality was, that was, you were the elder over that for this retreat. And they would take them out into the bush.
Mhm.
And I'm going to tell you, when from my research, all children didn't make it back. And I would tell my
Mhm.
kids, African
Right.
American women on tour, you're lucky that you're in America because we don't take you out where there are animals that could eat you, or
Mhm.
holes that could swallow you up, or trees that would snatch you up. You all get to make it through to the end of the rites of passage. But anyway, there were 8 elements that these elders were charged with, and they had to choose the elders first because no rites of
Mhm.
passage, no elders.
Right.
These are the wise ones. And then, second, were the children who were chosen to go to another level of their citizenship, of their villageness,
Mhm.
in order to take over as so for the sustainability of their society. So, therefore, they would never be without leaders. And
Right.
then there were the um, sacred space. Sacred space could be under a tree. I have taught under a tree in a gymnasium. I've taught in churches, basements. I've taught in hotel basements, and I mean wherever, as long.
Mhm.
And then we were supposed to have only 35 girls, and by the time the parents heard what was going on, that these children were going to get some training, and they were like, "Oh,
Mhm.
please, you got to take my daughter." We'd end up with 100 girls. Yeah,
Wow.
we would have a
Mhm.
100 girls. I said, as long as there's a place for her to sit, she can come. And if she chooses to mess up, she out of here because I have too many
Mhm.
kids. And then
Mhm.
at the door, a lot of the girls would be cursing and acting up because they thought they were going to go to the conference with their mama. And so
Mhm.
therefore, as they start cursing and acting up, and the mother was like, she never acts like this. I said, oh, that's for me. That's for
Mhm.
me. Act like she can't come because she cursing. Kind of listen. She definitely has to come if she cursing. So I would look at the child and said, "Listen, dear heart, go in there, read all the walls. We would have all the curriculum on the wall, and look at that photo book of me over the years with the
Mhm.
children, and then
Right.
go to choose your chair, any chair, and put on that T-shirt, and then come back and tell me what you're gonna be learning." Well,
Mhm.
the parent would be gone by the time the child came back to me because they would be all into the room. And so
Right.
therefore they would see on the wall the different teachings of of how to relieve themselves of their negative habits. And therefore they're
Right.
like, huh? Okay, how they gonna do that?
Right. Right.
And how
Right.
ain't you gonna tell
Right.
them? So that was supposedly.
Right.
But anyway, that was the fourth element, that they were going to
Mhm.
feel their negative habits, their choices that were not good, and help them make a decision during that weekend. And
Right.
then the fifth was um, their um, self-expression. They would, the challenges. We had all kind of challenges they'd have to go through.
Mhm.
You
Right.
know, I'm a scientist, I'm a mathematician. And so therefore, everything was a science project for me. And so
Mhm.
therefore, I would, ask them questions, do demonstrations, and they'd be like, and then they would get the answers and say, is her sheet the same as mine? I'd pass this little sheet
Mhm.
around, and I'd ask
Right.
them a question, but they were all different colors, but it was all
Mhm.
the same statement. And then
Right.
the girls come up with all these different answers for this one statement. And I was like, now
Mhm.
there's one piece of paper. Now I know y'all thought it was all different, but they're
Mhm.
all the same, and it's the same sentence. And all of you have come up with different, we have from 1 to 6, and that still ain't right. And they'd be like, what?
Mhm.
So then I would
Mhm.
tell them about it, and then they were like, oh my goodness, that was not there when I read it the first time. I said, of course it
Mhm.
was. It says that your brain doesn't always tell you the truth. You always have to question again and again to see, did you get the right answer from yourself? Because you want to be able to trust
Exactly.
yourself that you can give yourself the
Right.
right answer so you can go in life and be on cruise control. So by the time I finished with
Mhm.
that, then I had a bunch more that I would do. And so by then they were mine. Me and Sequester, we would look at
Right.
each other, wink, and keep on going. And then they would finally get to self-acceptance. We would ask them what their values are, build a dream board. They would choose their life. And I said, you can
Right.
choose the future. You can know the future. They're like, we can't know the future. Yeah, sure we
Mhm.
can. You can know the future because you're going to
Right.
build it. You choose it and build
Right.
it, then you know what your future is going to be. Now, you let somebody else choose, you don't know nothing. You let schools or count
Exactly.
whatever choose for you, they do not know
Mhm.
how to choose for you. And so therefore, if you want to know the future,
Right.
start choosing. Well, they got busy after that.
Yes.
And then we
Right.
would have
I
the
think the most
the
important thing I would say, Emily, was when you asked them about um, to create their own mission statement. That
yes,
was really interesting to see the children create their own mission statement. And when you said, where will you be 10 years from now? They had never even thought about where they would be. And to see them like just sit down, just like take this breath and just look around like 10 years. That means that, and some of them were like 15. So they said, that means I'll be 25. Where will I
25.
be 25? I mean, for them, they were like, whoa. And so they really start thinking about it and really put together some great mission statements, and their vision boards were just unbelievable when they started talking about where they would really be, because they hadn't really thought about where they would be 10 years from now. So it
That's
really
right.
was enlightening, and to see them, see that light bulb just go off in their heads when you gave them these
Yes.
questions, because no one had ever really questioned them about where they wanted to go or what
And
do they
who
want to
you
be. And then
are,
they would have these
what you want to do.
discussions. You know, oh my God, when they did the vision boards, the dream boards, and they would sit together in these groups and have all these magazines that God knows we would travel with all these magazines and have a whole suitcase just full of all our equipment. And then we had one little suitcase that had our clothes, and we had all these things we would travel with. But they would have all these magazines, and just really to go around and hear these conversations that they would
Mm,
have. And these were women, children from all over, from different areas and all across the country. So it was just really interesting to see how they became this sisterhood
it's
so fast, and how
that's
they
right.
supported each other so
That's
fast. But
right.
we had so many at one time that we had to eventually break off after they got to be 16 and put them in a young women's group, because it was
Uh-huh.
just overflowing. The young women had some issues that the younger women didn't, I think, and then we split it off. And then you took the younger, and then later on I took the older
Older.
ones that with the young
Yes.
women, 16 and but still going through the same kind of things, but on different levels. So that was just
Yes.
really exciting to see them. That shows you how women, when they come together and in a very quick time, they can start supporting each other and
Yes.
and checking each other. Because we got to the point that we didn't even have to monitor them. They monitored each other. Like, sister, what
That's
you doing?
right.
That's not what we're doing in here. Oh, we don't speak like that. Or don't
That's
talk to
right.
her like that. So all we had to do was sit back. Because once you set that base, that first day of that base, after that, it was pretty much they monitored themselves there. And in that time, nobody ever stole anything from anyone. We didn't
Nothing.
have any fights. We didn't have any of that. And people are like, how
And
could you
we
have all those
had
girls and no
girls
fights?
from Juvie
Never.
Hall. Remember? We would have
Yes.
whole blocks of girls from Juvie Hall, and anybody would want to send in guards with them. I said, "Oh no, not in my
Oh,
place."
right,
I said,
yeah, right,
you can sit outside the door. You hear a scuffle going
right.
on.
That's
You
right.
can come in with blaze and
Right.
everything." I said, "But I guarantee you'll never hear a thing." And so therefore,
Nope.
we would we'd let them go into the conference. Enjoy yourself. The girls are fine.
Right.
We got this.
Hmm.
And then
Right.
the director of juvie found out, came to fuss at me because I sent her guards off. I said, I sent your guards off because they were not trained by me to be in the room with the girls, and the girls are fine. These same girls you said were having a fight before they came. Oh no, they're the best of friends. Wait till Sunday. And
Hmm.
on Sunday, when we had the final ceremony, oh my God, the tears flowed from men and women and the girls
Right.
because of their joy.
Exactly.
And I tell the kids, when you know your values, so they choose their values first so they can write their
Mhm.
mission statement. When you know your values
Right.
and your purpose and mission in life and your geniuses, ooh, you blend these three
Mhm.
things together, you can do anything you want because that is the mixture, the chemistry of how you choose your future. And
Mhm.
then you can teach anybody when you got those three things. And if the school systems would just
Yeah.
adopt, just those three things from my book, they would, the school systems would change. And so, therefore, and I shared
Exactly.
this with many curriculums of different schools, but they're saying that it was too much change. And
See.
so I just been teaching
And
away.
it's really not that much. It's about being patient. It's about asking them
Well,
questions because I think when children do something, nobody ever asks them why did you do that or why. And then sometimes when they tell you, you go, well, that does make sense. But let me think of another way you can express that. I mean, I get it
right,
because it does, but let's think of another way you can express it because you have a lot. You're allowed to be angry. You're allowed not to be happy about things. But let's talk about why we have to do this and why we have to do. And I don't think that they do that in public schools. But we allowed. Well, Maria allowed us to have the freedom to do whatever it is we needed to do. So we were able to experiment and do different things and shift and change. And a lot of times, if we were zigging and the kids started zagging, then we started zagging because we had to see
right with
where they
them.
were and what was
That's right.
because there were
That's
different
right.
things that were going on. And remember, every city was different, and every city, Rose is saying, oh, Rose
Oh,
was one of our elders that came in to help.
hi,
I remember when the
Rose.
girls were sad,
So good
and
to
once they
see
felt
you.
safe, they were able to perform on stage. And she's right.
Yes.
Once they felt confident, once they felt supported by the elders and by the other girls, other girls would tell them, oh, you got this, you can do this. Or when they got ready to do their talent, and somebody could sing real well, but she was very
She said,
frightened,
they
you
would
would
say, I'll
stand
sing with
by
you.
them.
I'll
Oh,
stand with you.
yeah, right. And then it would sing. And within, what was it, 3 days? It was unbelievable how those children had changed in just those 3 days. Just would have someone being supportive, listening
Hmm.
to them. And I think one of the greatest things we did, we worked with M. Remember M and her group of
Yes.
young men. Yes, and they came
Yes.
in and they talked about sexuality, and a lot of
Yes.
things came out of there in terms of sexual assault and what have you. And then we were able to talk to them about that. M was really good at that. And then we were able to talk to
Hmm.
the girls about going home and talking to their parents about them. But some of those workshops, you had to kind of like hold yourself together because it was really very sad because when the girls felt safe and we
Hmm.
provided that safe space, they were able to tell their stories. And it was just
Yes.
unbelievable how the others supported them in
Yes.
that.
Empathy.
But
True
that was,
empathy.
I mean, well, yes, it really was. And then some of the elders shared some stuff, and it was just really
But
amazing
the
how
main thing is
we
that
were able
we
to.
shared and opened the girls to the safety. And then we were able to couch it and comfort them and give them closure during this
Closure
weekend.
is most important. Yes.
Oh,
Because
and
people will
with
sometimes have these young children open them up, but never close it down.
right,
And you can't have
right.
anybody leaving out because we always close our circles every day because you can't have them out there with their feelings hanging all out and everything. We had to
Mm,
always make sure that we had the last 30 minutes or whatever it was to close them down for that day so they'd be ready for the next day, but some things for them to think about as well.
And,
So
and
I know
then
you
on
worked on
Friday,
that.
I would say, "Oh, they got 5 minutes." I said, "Oh, I got one more thing I got to show you," and I put the drum music on and said, "You got to learn this dance by Sunday." And off I go with my old stuff. And they were like, "Look at Elder go! Oh my God!" I said, "So here, one, let's do that. Okay, now two. All right, three, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we got it all. See y'all tomorrow. We'll do it again in the
Right.
morning."
I
They couldn't
know.
believe their eyes, I tell
No,
you.
you can't
But you
learn
know,
that dance, but they learned the dance. They learned everything. Yep.
do you remember the robot? The game of life?
Yeah. Oh, the game of life. That
Oh
was
my.
so good. I even
Oh,
use that with adults. Well, adults are even worse than children when it comes to the robot, because the children, because they're younger, they think out of the box, and adults are so linear. But that
yeah,
robot was really really good about how you put things in and put it out. And if you don't say what you want, then you're going to get something else. So that
that's
was, oh
right.
my
And you
God,
get
that was my
one step at a
favorite.
time and collaborate. People around you can see, will know if there's a mistake. So therefore, can help everybody to help each other to make it through this maze of this robot. Oh,
Right.
I love that. And then they ask him, "What did you learn from this robot?" And everybody just went on and on and on about what they learned just from that one little game. That it was always just, "Oh, here's another little game, here's another little game." And they were all
Right.
scientific. They were all scientific to prove that people just want to be loved, just want to be
Yep.
heard, you know
Mm-hmm.
and then
Mm-hmm.
brain. Remember when we would do the brain, where we would describe how your brain works: right brain, left brain, whole brain,
Mm-hmm.
behind the wall, and in that
Right.
quiet space. And then I said, "So this, but you always know where you are and where other people are. And if somebody's behind the wall, get away from them."
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to do
Mm-hmm.
that,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And when
Right.
you see people move over to their right brain and to their heart, forgive them. They're not where they were a
Right.
minute ago. Yes. So
Right.
I just
Right.
I just loved all the pieces. So, all this was in my book, Super Learning. Um, 3000, it was Super Learning 2000 then, and now the current book
Mm-hmm.
is Super Learning 3000, which Kadir, my son Kadir Nelson, is who did that painting
Yeah.
behind me of Michael Jackson. Was
Oh,
the
okay.
art
That's it.
and
Mm-hmm.
was the illustrator of that book when he was just 17, and we published it when he was 19. That was the first time his work was known all over the
Mm-hmm.
world. Now it's just known all over the world.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Postage stamps and Smithsonian and Library of Congress. I mean, his stuff is everywhere. It's just
Yes,
everywhere.
yes, yes,
But
yes. But
that also goes back to you as a mother supporting children that were visionaries. And a lot of times parents don't understand that their children are visionaries and they see things differently, but you always supported your children and they all do different things, but they're artistic and they're all doing very well because you supported them and understood that everyone is not the same.
that's right.
Well, there's your
Everybody had different
learning to
genius. Because all the
right,
kids would say,
exactly.
"Give
So
me a paintbrush." But that's
your
not
book is
your
on
suit.
Amazon, right?
It's
Oh,
on
your book.
Amazon,
Oh,
Amazon.com. Uh-huh.
oh, I don't know what happened. Oh, there I am. Okay. Oh, it's on
Okay.
Amazon. Okay.
And
Good. I just want to make sure
it's in
you
all
get it on Amazon.
languages, all over the world.
Okay.
So, and you can read it for free with the Kindle edition right there on Amazon. You can online.
Okay.
You can read my book for free because I wanted everybody to be
Right.
able to have the opportunity to have it. And so,
Right.
and then if you can afford it, get it. You know, because I'm the kind that writes all in my books.
Right.
I have to
Exactly.
take notes on the side and reference and everything. Yeah, but
Right. Right. So Emily, tell me a little bit about, or let them know. So how did you get into the rites of passage? What made you go into rites of passage?
well, 18. No, that was what 40 years ago. Oh my God, 45 years ago. Don't get to me telling stories how long ago it was. It was Sequestra and I and 18 elders who got together who had different strengths. And I got to come because I was an engineer and a mathematician. And so I was so glad to be invited. And then all the elders said that they would take a week to do one of the challenges and the lessons, you know, to help
Right.
the
Mm-hmm.
children to go through. And it was Dr. Judith Zendaya who was getting her doctorate at the time. Um, and I was so happy to just go. And so then she said, excuse me. And
Mm-hmm.
then some of the teachers, the elders, they were kind of quiet. They said, Emily, would you come and be with
Mm-hmm.
me when I do mine? I said, sure, I'll keep them in
Mm-hmm.
order. And then you just do your lesson. And then turned out that I went to everybody's session. And
Mm-hmm.
excuse me, let me get just a little water.
Water. Yeah, that was the San Diego rites of passage. That's when the sisters got
Yes.
together in a year. We were trying to put a curriculum together, and we actually went through our own rites of passage because the boys had a rites of passage, and so we wanted to have one for the girls. And so we went through
And
a year, and it takes a while to really put your curriculum together to do that.
yes,
And then
yes.
from that we had the
And then what happened?
ceremony. Oh,
Yes. Oh, the ceremony.
remember the girls
Um,
were meeting with us. It was supposed to be every other week, and then the girls decided they wanted to meet every week, and so we were
that's
trying to
right.
keep that because they wanted. The kids loved it so much. They thought, "No, we got to go every week," and we were like, "Oh, okay." So we had to work through that, and then
But
we
I
put
didn't
them through
mind
one,
going
which
every
was
week.
yeah.
That's right.
It took about I think a year or so for them to go through that, through all our curriculum, and then after that, that's when we went to Maria.
African
Was
American
starting the
woman on
African
tour.
American with Trish, right? And
And we
then
took her
they wanted to
around
do a
the
rite of
country.
passage. Mm-hmm. We took it
And so
around
therefore,
the country, from one coast to the other, and,
uh-huh.
we had to
And we
really
had a
share.
reputation. We had,
We were written up in the papers. I mean, people wrote about us, what we did, and then we had to. But it was just Emily and I, and so then we started meeting women that were at the conference that were so excited they wanted to help us even though they had paid for the conference, they want to help with the rites of passage. So that's how we met Grace Ali,
that's right.
Rose Fountain, and then they
Fountain.
started traveling with us. Yolanda
That's
Simmons,
right.
they started traveling with us, and they would come to wherever we were. Jamila came, Abrilla
Yes.
came. Oh my God, there were so many women that
And my
came,
sister started a rites
and
of
so
passage in her
we
city.
didn't want
So
to,
she
they
said,
were coming to help us. The right, right,
mm-hmm.
they would come to the city. So Emily's like, well, they're coming. We're not paying or anything, so they can sleep in our room.
That's right.
Unbeknownst to me, some of these people no. And then I was coming to be like 3 people with their luggage and their suitcase, like, okay,
Sweetie.
oh,
So then people were
great.
coming on
Yeah.
and saying
So they
hello.
came, right. And then we met sisters from London. Sister Sandra, she was from London, and Sister Lady Paulette came in. So then we met
Yeah.
people from London as well that came and helped us. We had the best time. We had the best
Oh
time.
my.
Neferkar came in and helped us with the day. We had all kinds of sisters that came in for free that really helped us with the rites of passage. It was so much fun,
It was just
so
fun.
powerful. At the end, it was fun, and we would. God, we would get up early in the morning and we'd be there late at night. Now, Emily, let me tell everybody, Emily likes to go to bed early. I like to stay up late. But once Emily wants to sleep, we could do anything in the room because she didn't care. So I would go out and I'd be out with the other elders. We'd be going everywhere and doing everything. And we could come in the room and Emily would never wake up. But Emily was an early morning, so that means that she would get up early at 6 and she get up there and get stuff going while I'm trying to like get it together because I had just come in from being out there all night with the elders. I'm like, you got to get up because Emily said, we got to be there by a certain time. But she would have it set up and then we come in and we do our thing. So it was a lot of fun. But the thing was about the women that we had were women that were very compassionate. They were women that were very supportive. There were women that were there, and then they all had talents, and a lot of times we would let them do different things because they had different talents, and Emily and I would sit back and I'd give us a little breather, and they would talk about whatever it was that they did or were their talents were. So that really helped us too to really know about different people. So Shadi said she loved me, shared about Rites of Passage and travel.
We made 100 African outfits on a Saturday afternoon. Oh my
God.
We'd have all the kids just bring 3 yards of fabric. Just bring it. We got you covered. And we would tear, cut, and tie 100 girls into beautiful African garb. That they once we get that one the tops, with their galas, their crowns. Oh my God. And then they were transformed the rest of the way once they got on their African garb and looking their queendom selves.
Yes. I want to thank Grace and thank Rose and Yolanda for helping us when it came time to getting those girls with those 100, getting those outfits, because they really did help us. And Abrilla and Jamila, all of those that came in and helped us. Please, thank you. Because
my
we couldn't have done
it. Yes.
Oh, yes. I mean, everybody came in. Whoever that was around and knew us would come and help us. So I just really want to thank them because that really did help us to be able to make this great
girls that we all touched because they came to help. Because technically, we needed it. But we were
what's important, I think,
100.
For girls to have a rites of passage, I think it's very, very important for them to have those, because if you don't, children will always make their rites of passage. If you do not provide one, will make one. So they get jumped into gangs, they get involved in all sex, they do all kinds of things to demark that they're moving on to another level. And so we need to provide some kind of service for them to help them to move along and make good choices. Rolanda, who's the producer of the show, also does the quality of life when she works with young girls during the year. And she does something, but hers are mostly high school girls that she works with. But it's so important that we have that. And then all her girls that went on, like a lot of our girls went on to college. And they felt very confident about who they were. And so when they have that confidence, they can do whatever it is that they want to do. Everybody didn't go to college, but they may have been one for a trade. They may have done, but they became good citizens, and they became people that gave back to the community. I think the elders even learned things about themselves, and they were able to give more to the community and help other people that had rites of passage. So I think so my granddaughters, they were little. My granddaughters, India and Kamali, and they came and were part of the rites of passage, and they helped us, and they learned a whole lot. They even talked about, recently about how they really enjoyed being part of that and seeing the girls doing that, even though they were 4 and 5 at that time. Yeah. So I think
here I am on my virtual after school where the kids have done some of their drawings and they're showing what they've completed with me. And so I sit on Zoom every day since March.
Emily, can you talk a little bit about the right? I was going to say, can you talk about how you're doing the rites of passage in the after school program with Urgent Inc.?
There you go. Yes. Me and Shadia, my daughter, and Celia. They're making sure that we are totally funded so that we can continue to give the 8 elements, the 8 essential elements of the rites of passage to all of our kids in all of our programs. So therefore, they all have the teachers who've been trained by me with our rites of passage, the Super Learning 3000, the book is the essence of the rites of passage, 8 elements. The curriculum, the 400-page curriculum, details all of the same elements of the rites of passage. Here you see the different flashbacks and the different after school where we're virtual, where we have our Rites of Passage media project. We have put in a golf tournament and we did a gala. Wow. But the thing is, but all of these elements all include the eight African time honored elements of the teachers, of the students, of the sacred space, the of how to overcome. Because the thing is, all you got to do is breathe. There's a breathing process that we use, and at the beginning of every virtual after school, we have the unity circle, which is from Rites of Passage, where the children breathe to relax, to learn, and breathe to relax, to relate to the other children. And then we have an oath basically talking about humanity and the oneness of humanity with us, as well as then we have a song, that same vibe, that after the oath they sing their song, how much they love you. You know, I love myself so much that I can love you so much. So that you can love yourself so much, you can start loving me. And the kids sing it with such gusto. All of this is with the breathing and with the learning of the values and the learning of, and we have our African History Month where we share the principles of Kwanzaa, where we share the sacred elements of rites of passage during those shows. I mean, you know, it's just it fills everything, because when you have these elements of and get the kids to self-acceptance and self-love, then they awaken to themselves and then become. Now there's my daughter Shadi, who runs our Rites of Passage Media Arts, and there's my granddaughter who has grown up in Rites of Passage, and now she's in the Rites of Passage Media Arts program. But she's been there since she's been a baby, which just like your grandchildren and my other grandchildren, you know, all they know is Rites of Passage.
Right.
And then we're always celebrating them. Yes. Let's say, you said the days of staying up late, getting up early, sneaking to the alley on break, sweat lodge, seeing the ladies transform weekend. Oh yes, life memories, life memories.
Oh my
so
God.
Great to see you, Grace.
I know. We used to, I mean, we would get the van and we would, and especially when we went to LA, and we would go down to the alley and buy clothes. And then we go to that place, vegetarian place. We would do all this within so many hours. Yeah.
So many hours.
We went to the sweat lodge. Oh my God.
Oh my,
yes. Because we took care of ourselves. Yes.
Yeah, because the thing is, we were fed. Oh my, I love that picture of me. There's 3 generations there of passing it on for the sustainability of our society. And the thing is, sustainability of love and care and kindness. You can't beat these principles, these values that people put into their mission and their purpose, and then take to their dream boards. All these are just key elements in the Rites of Passage program, and we do them in all of our programs. Yes.
We talked about, we also talk about the ancestors. We talk about history. We talk about everything. We talk about what it's like to be a woman. And it was really interesting to hear some young women what they thought women what women were, and what they are. So it was just really interesting because some of them didn't have a woman in their life or didn't have grandmothers or whatever it was, and so we were able to have those kind of conversations with them.
Yes, yes, yes.
Mhm. And the dance troops and all that came through, the African dance and everything. So it was just really interesting. Sometimes they would show us dance, and we'd be like, "Girl, that's the dance." And when we had back in the '60s, we do our dances, and they would just love when we danced or said something that they thought was out the box. The kids would just laugh, and so we got great. We ate together. We had our
Yes.
breakfast together. We had lunch together, and so it just gave us all this time to really get a chance to really interact with these kids for like 3 days, 3.5 days. And it was just so, I
And
mean, I learned
listen
so
to them.
much.
Oh my God. You
Oh,
know?
listen, yes, yes, that was
And
so
they were
important.
so engaged with us. When people
Hmm.
would peek in there, like, the girls are so engaged. We thought they were going to be bored. Oh, there wasn't a boring moment in
Yeah.
there. Never a boring moment.
No, never, never. It was always something going on. It was always a comedian, somebody was funny. It was always somebody who didn't want to be there. It was all kinds of stuff. But by the end, they were all straight and they were ready to go. And I know, and Rose and I did, and Grace and I did the young women a number of times, and so that was a lot of fun because they were on another level. So they were talking about being involved in relationships and what was that like, and we shared some of our
Yes.
stories and their stories, and so that was really I really enjoyed being with the young women because a lot of them were in high school and going into college. And so we were able to really have that kind of conversation with them. And I also love when I did the young girls as well because they were funny as it can be. Oh, there's Yolanda. Yes, yes, Yolanda. Thank you so much for
Hi,
being there
Yolanda.
for taking the young women. Yes, yes. Yep, yeah,
Yes,
Monday, yeah,
thank you.
Friday, Sunday was a whole different thing because I hadn't had a mother say, "What do you do in there?" My child came home and she's an entirely different child. She was manifold. She's just like, "What is? Can I take you all home?" And part of it, we talk about our mothers doing the best that they could do. That doesn't mean
Yeah.
all the time that the mothers are correct, but they are doing the best that they know how. And
And all you
sometimes,
got to do is love your mother.
that's right. That's right. She's
And
doing the best that
appreciate
she can.
what she
Right.
can do. Yes, yes.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, a lot
And we
of
talk,
tears rolled in.
yes, and how you can assist her. How can you assist her? How can you make it better for her and you? And I
Yeah.
remember one time we did with the Rites of Passage in San Diego where the children were in charge of the house for a week. And then they had to come back, and it was so funny because the kids were like, I asked my mother to do the dishes, and she said, I'll do them later. And I wanted the dishes done, and I had to fix the meal, and they wouldn't come to the dinner to the table on time. And one little girl was in charge. Her mother let her be in charge of the budget because we wanted to do everything. And she's like, I don't know how my mother does. When I found out how much she made and all the things she had to do, I have so much respect for my mother. Yes, sometimes you have to do that. Let them really see this is what I'm really dealing with. And then the
Mm-hmm.
child goes, whoa, I thought it was something else. Like, no, this is what
No.
I'm really dealing with. So we were able to talk about that with the girls and really, explain to them, mom doing the best she can or dad doing, because sometimes just be dad doing the best she can,
You can. Well, when we did
and
the
so
robot
how
and we
can
had
you
a robot who
support?
couldn't talk, remember that? The robot couldn't talk. And they said, well, why can't we talk? I said, because I want y'all to feel what your mother feels like when she gives you good counsel and you will not listen and you fall into the gap, you fall into trouble. And therefore, because you can't, the robot who can't talk during the game wants to advise the student, their
Right,
friends. Oh, you're about to make a mistake. Oh my God.
right,
And I said, you can't make no sounds. You've got to hold it in.
right.
And they will talk
Yep.
about that more at the end of the robot game than anything about
Mm-hmm.
listen to your mama, listen to your dad, because we're killing them. That was murderous for me to watch y'all make so many mistakes and not make it through the game. And all your parents want to
Right.
do is help you be happy and make it through life, you know? So,
Right. Exactly. Yeah. That was
well,
really good because all they had was those cards, and the cards
yes.
told you what to do, and all you could do was whatever that card said. And
Uh,
if it said go straight, you had to go straight. And if it said turn, you got to turn. They were like, I don't want to turn, but it says turn. That's what you got to do. The group decide you got to turn. So there you go. So it was
show
really,
you how your brain works. You give your brain a command, off it's going, you know? And they're like,
mm-hmm.
oh, no, I'm not supposed to do that. Well, you got to change your mind and change your mind, you
That's
know?
right.
Oh,
Choices,
my,
choices,
my. Yes,
choices. Yes, definitely.
choices. Yes, choices.
So with your virtual rites of passage because of COVID, how is that working for you? Because I know some children they were saying we're having a hard time with the being virtual and paying attention and being focused.
Well, the thing is, for our virtual after school,
Mhm.
when it comes to uh, they're being engaged, totally engaged, is so much fun. We're on a world tour with our
Mhm.
virtual after school. So we might be doing the same reading exercise, the same PE, the same um, reading and social emotional learning each week, but
Right.
we're in a different country and they're learning all these things with the language, the clothing, the food, the dance for PE. And so they are totally engaged. They don't miss. They're there early and they want to stay late. But we got to say, nope, you got to go. See you tomorrow.
Okay.
And because
Okay.
we are so on time, energetic, happy with all this new information every day, every day, they don't want to miss a
Okay.
thing. Yes, yes, yes. So
Hmm.
it's
Hmm.
totally fun
Right.
and
So
not
I know
boring
at
at
one
all.
So I know,
Mhm.
Emily, at one time you were training, and I remember African American women on tour, I would do some training for elders. Are you still training elders that want to do a rites of passage? Are you still doing that?
I haven't had any new um,
Okay.
sites around the country show up. I used to travel all over the world training elders. But
Oh, with
I
COVID now,
no,
yeah.
nope, 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 nope.
But you could do it virtually. But if somebody was interested, they could reach out to you. And you could do something virtually.
Well, basically, I would first have them read my book, Super Learning 3000, make sure they
Okay.
agree with the philosophy of love and values and genius and how the brain works. Because if
Okay.
you're not in control of your own mind, you have no control at all.
Okay.
So, and using the Rites of Passage curriculum that Urgent Inc. is now the publisher of, they can, read this very thorough with manual that has all the lesson plans and all the steps in it. Uh, people have told me that they have found it very, very, very good. And
Okay.
so, but as far as me facilitating, um, I'm open. People can bring
Okay.
me in for a fee, and
Mhm.
I can train their elders for them. But with all this COVID stuff, people aren't doing it right now. I was just
Right.
visited last week by one of my elders from the Tennessee Rites of Passage members, and
Mhm.
they have been with me for 25 years, and
Right.
and we stay in touch with each other. My elders around the world are doing a great, great, great job and staying in touch and reading my books to make sure that they remind themselves of the
Mhm.
tenets. Um, but I want to speak on one more thing, if I may.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
I have a book that I'm writing, been writing it
Mhm.
for 25 years. It's
Okay.
400 pages, and I have to slim it down to 130 pages. But
Okay.
it's called Whole Woman, Whole World. And I say when women are whole, the world will be whole. And so look forward to seeing that soon.
Oh, that's going to be exciting. So can you tell me about, so in your, oh yeah, you sent this to me. What's this about?
Oh
The
no,
Egyptian night?
I was supposed to have that next month. COVID knocked it out the box.
Okay.
People, I said, to do my Egyptian Nights Gala to support my kids and our school that's coming, Urgent Academy.
Ooh, how
Um,
exciting.
oh, that is exciting. Oh my God, it's all my best stuff, all our best stuff in the
Mhm.
school project base. Oh my goodness. But this gala will be next year, you know,
Okay.
because do it virtually will not do this justice.
Yeah. Mhm. Oh,
But
that's
that's
that,
what the gala was all about. It's mainly,
okay.
supporting all of our programs, but starting our campaign, our capital campaign for Urgent Academy,
Okay.
entrepreneur apprenticeship, project-based, universal design school. Where the kids really are the teachers, and all we are the
Mhm.
coaches. All we are is supporting them, giving them what they need so they can do their best shot at their
Right.
life. Yes. Congratulations on Urgent
Yeah,
Academy. Thank
that's
you.
good. All right, so
I
you write the passage with Urgent Inc. What's the ages of the children in that program?
from 5 years old to
Okay.
18.
Oh,
K
okay.
to 8. Yeah,
Okay.
every see, rites of passage is what holds our community together and sustains it for the future.
Okay.
You know, I'm always preparing elders and teachers to know what I know so
Hmm.
that it does not die with me.
Okay. So it's intertwined through all your programs at Urgent
All
Inc.
the program. Yes, it
Exactly.
is.
That was it.
I mean,
So I
that's
remember,
why it's.
oh, okay. So I remember Shadi was saying that there's no fees for certain, and certain programs that do have a small fee depending on what it
Mhm.
is that they're
Very
having
small,
going.
very small fee,
Okay.
just so they
Okay.
have ownership. Yes.
Right, right. So, Emily, so what do now we're at Rites of Passage 2020. What do you see in terms of the future for Rites of Passage in
I
America? What
think
do you see?
I think that rites of passage has finally come of age because we used to say rites of passage, and they're like rites of what? What is that? You know, we don't have we don't have to explain anymore because everybody is kind of
Right.
using that rite of passage, to explain gangs, to explain seniors, to explain
Mm-hmm.
a lot of things, so that it has finally come of age. But now I want everyone to contact Urgenique so therefore they can get the mentorship and the training, so they can continue with us to sustain our communities
Mm-hmm.
in love.
Great, great. I'm glad because I know talking to Celia and you all a couple of weeks ago, we talked about Urgent Inc. We're talking about all the different visionary programs that you want to have and how you want to start doing more virtual, so the children around the globe can also come and participate in the different programs you have at Urgent Inc., which I think is very, very exciting and very visionary. And I know Rose is going to be doing some things with her program as well, because we have a lot of girls that are in different states that are in these isolated little pockets. And so if they were able to, hook up with you or be part of your program, that would be fabulous to be able to do that. And I think we're really expanding globally. We have sisters over, like I say, in London, and they have some things that we just kind of hook up and do some things globally. It's going to be fabulous. I'm really excited about it to see that, going on.
Yes, yes.
And
I
definitely want
really
to get down to Miami and
yes.
see what's
It's
going
yeah,
on
it's,
in
yeah, yeah. You got to
Miami.
come.
Yeah, you guys got that film project, and you're doing these films where young people are producing these films and getting awards. And I think that's important because I think we have so many stories that we need to share. So I'm excited to see about what they're doing in terms of the films that they're doing. And I didn't know Shadia was a film, was into film and what have you.
A
So that's
writer,
exciting to
yes,
see that because I have
a
some things
director.
in the back of my
Oh,
head.
she's so good.
Yeah,
She's got
it's
so
so
many talents
funny.
going on, and she does it
I
effortlessly. Oh my
know.
goodness.
And she's so quiet, doesn't say a
Well,
whole lot, and what have you. I mean, for the little girl, but now, and she does the same thing she did when she was a little girl with me. She always just laughs at me. I'm like, Shawty, why are you? She just laughs at me all the time. Just laughs all the time. Never. She just laughs.
yeah, but I want to
Oh,
personally thank
yeah.
you, Sequester, for being an elder to my children, to all my boys
They
and
were
my
such
girls.
nice children. We had
Oh,
so much fun when we used to come to your house for Thanksgiving. Steph and I, and they were all in high school, and Steph had just got out of high school. And so, we were talking the other day about Celia, and Steph was like, "Oh my God, Celia was in high school. She was a cheerleader, and they're all like grown. They all have children." And I remember they were like, Kadir was playing on the basketball team at the school and what have you. And so when we got together, it was just always so much fun, and we would just
just
laugh
fun.
and
Yeah,
laugh and laugh and
yes,
laugh. It was
yes.
fun.
Everybody was
No
fun.
TV. I know we were just sitting around and laughing. Sometimes we had a dance contest, and we all got up and danced. I mean, it was just a lot of fun,
Yeah.
and
So,
and it was just fun.
yeah,
But
I'm
that's
looking
about
forward.
family.
Yes.
It's about family. It's about people supporting each other. People loving each other, and not judging each other. And whatever it was, we just supported each other in whatever. Somebody had an auction, we go to that, and then you had the NAACP, we all went to that, and then Celia was doing, we go there, whatever. So we would just, go wherever somebody was doing something. But that was a lot of fun in San Diego.
There's
Friday.
Shadia.
Oh, it was just so much. It was just
Oh, yeah.
fun. Everybody's grown and
I would
has
tell
children.
Sequester to call my house. Call my house now. Shadi's the only one here, and she'll answer the phone. So you just let her ring until she answers, and then y'all don't have to come to me. Y'all just have your conversation, and I would never hear what was said, but I know whatever was the problem or the issue or the challenge that Auntie Sequester took care of it. Thank you. Thank
Oh,
you.
it was fun. We had conversations about different things, but it was like, okay, it's what you need to do, blah, 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 or what you think about that. And so it was good. It was more about you throwing it back on them and saying, well, these are the choices. What do you want to do? Or what do you feel like? And they make their own choice. You just support them in it. So, Emily, I really appreciate you coming. You have any parting words for Grace and all the people that were out there listening to us and the Rites of Passage? You have any parting words for us today?
Yes, I do. The main thing is to live in truth, simplicity, and love with tremendous kindness. And I send out
Yeah.
blessings that everyone is blessed with all the time, energy, money, wisdom, peace, and compassion to manifest all that their heart desires in truth, simplicity, and love.
Mhm.
And you'll never go wrong.
That's right. That's right. And I think the quote from my brother, because I always have a quote from my brother, he was just saying, mind your own business. Because he said, people are wearing masks, people are not wearing masks, and people are getting to fights and what have you. He said, if they don't wear masks, you just go down another aisle, you just leave the store or whatever. Don't get into these fights with these people because people are getting hurt and it's not necessary. So my thing is I just go the other way. I wear a mask. That's my truth. And that's so I just wanted to, tuning in, talk a little bit, maybe I chop over Rites of Passage. And next week I have my first man's going to be, it's going to be a husband and wife team are going to be on there. And they're both entrepreneurs. And I've known this young man the same time. He's an artist. He's a graffiti artist. And I knew him same time like I knew Kadir. And he was about 17, 18. Now I think he's in his 40s. I just can't believe all these young people are now in their 40s. Yes. And he's going to come on his wife, and they're going to talk about being entrepreneurs, and they're married. And so I want to talk about how you can have that marriage and entrepreneur, just like you all talked about families being together and being entrepreneur and how you support each other. So I'm going to have them on. They're going to talk about the marriage next week. So that's going to be I'm really great to see Create. His name is Eric. I call him Create because that's his graffiti name. So he's going to be on with his wife. So I'm happy to have him do that. So I just want to thank you, Emily. I really appreciate you taking out the time to come and talk about, and you talk about Rites of Passage and how much fun we had. And, really got to get down to Miami and see you and get with the
That's
kids. I
right.
got to get down there and see the
You
kids and
got
see
to.
how they're doing.
I
And check
mean,
them
when
all
you
out.
come, you're talking about a celebration. Oh my.
It's gonna be so much fun, so much fun. So we're definitely going to do that. So I want to
Yeah.
thank you all, and we will see you all next week on Voices from Wise Women. So thank you, and have a great week.
Bye. Thank you for joining us.